And welcome to an all-new Marvel cast, Explosion Network's hub of all things Marvel. We're going to talk about everything MCU and beyond, from Avengers and Defenders to Dolt, Kendall, and Jimmy Natal. My name is Ashley Hobley. Joining me today is Ultimate Kieran Marchant.
It is I. Hello, comic book fans.
And the astonishing Neil Blight.
Hello, sing. I think I did that last time. And he's like made fun of me because it was like swip. That's it. Yeah, because it sounds like a Wolverine noise, but it's supposed to be a web noise. I just can't get it right.
All right, let's just jump straight into it. This week, we're talking about Spider-Man Homecoming.
So, to become an Avenger, are there like trials or an interview?
Just don't do anything I would do. And definitely don't do anything I wouldn't do. There's a little gray area in there, and that's where you operate.
Oh.
All right?
That's not a hug. I'm just grabbing the door for you. All right, kid. Good luck out there.
You're the Spider-Man.
No, I'm not. I'm not. This is just a costume. This is
You're on the ceiling.
Stay close to the ground. And stay out of trouble. Forget the flying monster guy. There are people who handle this sort of thing.
I'm sick of him treating me like a kid all the time.
But you are a kid.
This is my chance to prove myself.
Peter, what is going on with you?
I'm really sorry. I'm so busy. I'm slammed.
Don't mess with me, because I will kill you and everybody you love.
Released 2017, directed by Jon Watts, screenplay by Jonathan Goldstein, John Francis Daly, Jon Watts, Christopher Ford, Chris McKenna, Erik Sommers, story by Jonathan Goldstein and John Francis Daly, based on Spider-Man by Stan Lee and Steve Ditko, starring Tom Holland, Michael Keaton, Jon Favreau, Gwyneth Paltrow, Zendaya, Donald Glover, Jacob Batalon, Laura Harrier, Tony Revolori, Bokeem Woodbine, Tyne, Daly, Marisa, Tomei, and Robert Downey Jr. Peter Parker tries to stop the Vulture from selling weapons made with advanced Chitauri technology while trying to balance his life as an ordinary high school student. So obviously this is the third live-action iteration of Spider-Man. Dylan, did we need another Spider-Man, and how do you feel about this one?
Legally, we did need another Spider-Man, so there's the answer.
I mean, legally, Sony did.
Yeah. So, here's my couple like little tidbits about like watching this for the first time in quite a while. Given the way this movie starts, and you got the Chitauri, and it's like so heavily set up around the events of Avengers. It's rewatching that and then just thinking about the thing that happened like a year ago. Was it like a year ago where Sony was like, "No, fuck you, give us more money," and Disney was like, "I'll fucking leave."
I think it was the other way around, where Disney was like, "Hey,
Tom
we want
Holland
more
was
money."
Like, "Hi, Mr. Disney, I'm Spider-Man. Can you so work and be business again, yeah, please?" Rewatching that scene and just thinking about the fact that I was going to do it, I was like, "You dumb motherfuckers! This whole universe, this whole Spider-Man universe, is literally from the opening scene built around the MCU, and they're like, we'll fucking leave you." You dumb fucks. So that was my first little tidbit. And then my second was, so obviously over the last 2 years I've become Zendaya's like in one of my favorite shows at the moment now, so I'm paying a lot more attention to her in this. I was like, fuck, she really has fuck all screen time in this first movie. I kind of forgot how little she has in this. I obviously knew she wasn't the romance interest.
Yeah,
I already knew that, but I really forgot how little and much of a background player she is, especially by the time we get to the next one. She's obviously the like co-star properly, so that was an interesting thing. Other than it though, movie, it's good shit. It's fun. It's Tom Holland's a great Spider-Man. It's flies along at a good pace. I still think Vulture's probably top 3 MCU movie villains.
I think he's neck and neck with Thanos for me, really, as like up there. Like that car scene's fucking insane. How good that is.
Yeah. Like he's a proper villain. He's scary, but you also understand why he started doing what he was doing, and you understand how he got to be as evil as he is, because it's sort of he gets addicted to the cycle of this lifestyle a bit. Is the way I take it. So I think he's actually a really interesting and well done villain, one of the movie's best for sure. So I really enjoy the movie. I've got my couple of nitpicks with it or whatever else, but this is definitely in a world where we had those 2 amazing Spider-Man movies, which I still stand up for and say they're everyone that thinks they shit. No, they were good. They were good. This Jeff, definitely you get this as just a more competent put together Spider-Man movie, especially after Amazing Spider-Man 2, where they're like, we don't know who our main villain is really, so how about we just have all the villains, and then as we're filming, we'll kind of pick
Amazing
which
Spider-Man 2 was almost like... The problem with that movie was the fact that it felt like it was a building blocks to make Sinister Six.
Well,
like,
yeah.
It was very much, we're setting something else up here, and it was like, oh, you're trying to set something else up here. That's going to work out well for you. So
we'll do our own MCU, don't make us...
Yeah, with that one, they were so unsure. Didn't they shoot entire scenes with Shailene Woodley as MJ, and they just cut her out?
And then she's not in the movie and there was another actor, I can't remember who it is. There's two that were just like cast in the movie completely, and she was one of them. So yeah, that movie was a mess. So a lot more competent movie, but it's just it's a lot of fun. Very funny. Again, my one sort of complaint about this movie on a rewatch, I don't know if I remember feeling this the first time watching is I somewhat feel like Tom Holland's at times he's like too kiddish, if that makes any sense. Like, I know like he's obviously supposed to be a kid, but there's parts where it just seems it's like peaking a microphone, if that makes sense. Like it sort of at times it goes from being yellow orange to like peaking into the red, like a little bit too over the top. That was my
any
one little
specific points you want to.
So I guess it's any of the earlier scenes in the movie where he's interacting with what's his best mate's friend?
Ned.
Ned. Yeah, there's just a few scenes with Ned where it seems over the top kiddish, like compared to any other character in the movie. I understand that's supposed to be like, well, that's just him with his friends and what's supposed to be. Yeah. I get that, but it just on this rewatch for whatever reason, I just felt like it wasn't like there wasn't really a consistency how I could see him, like, because there's other times where he's talking to him, he's a lot more serious or whatever, and then there'll be other times where he's like seemingly a lot more over the top. Whereas Ned is consistently at the same level, if you know what I mean. Like Ned is Ned. So I don't know. Anyway, that's a nitpick I said. So just.
Ciaran, what do you think of Homecoming?
I really love Tom Holland Spider-Man and Homecoming. I think I've said in the past that my problem, I'm not a big Raimi fan, and I was never a massive fan of the Amazing Spider-Man either, but I think my major criticisms of those two movie series were, well, for Raimi, I thought they did Peter Parker okay, but I didn't think they did Spider-Man very well. I didn't think he was the smart-ass, wise-talking kind of going by the seat of his pants superhero that Spider-Man is. And then
I don't think they aimed to do that in that movie though, because they were already like Tobey Maguire's too old. So
yes, no, they didn't.
Like,
of course not. But for me, that's why it was like, oh, okay, I don't love that Spider-Man. And then Amazing Spider-Man, they did Spider-Man well. Like he's like, I remember laughing at some of his jokes and like him being kind of wisecracking was good. But then Andrew Garfield was like way too cool to be Spider-Man. Like his Peter Parker was like not a dweeb or a nerd or a freaking loner or an outcast really at all. He was just yeah, he was the cool edgy kid really. But then Homecoming is and Tom Holland Spider-Man I think nails both sides of it really well. I do agree with your points of sometimes he's a bit too kiddie. I know it's done for laughs, but like the section where he's like, why does he always treat me like a kid while he's like bouncing on the bed and stuff like that, where I'm like, oh, okay, like I get that's done for the humor and to kind of over top point that out, but I think Michael Keaton is amazing. Like Michael Keaton is so good in this movie. I think especially when you first watch this movie, there's not even that much of a hint that he is Liz's father. And so when that reveal happens, that is like the movie kind of gets flipped on its head a little bit and is done really well. All of Peter and his interaction in the house and then in the car is so well done by both actors. Like it's kind of insane. Like I remember, I always feel good, and I got it today when I was watching it, was goosebumps when you can see him slowly start piecing it together, and the sinister, like it was just the way the way Keaton says like your pal Spider-Man or good thing good old Spider-Man was there, like just stuff like that was just like. It's just like tense and so well done. And Vulture as a character is great. He has depth in general. Like, I think I never remember how long this movie is. Like, this movie is very long in terms of like.
Isn't it? It's like an hour 50 or something, isn't it?
Isn't it 2 plus? Like, isn't it 2:15?
Maybe just 2. I don't know.
But it like isn't not long and like it's really long, but just like I can't remember how much there is that happens in this movie. I love it opening with the Civil War connections and his vlogging of him and Happy.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that actually.
Like it's done really well. So the foresight of when they did Civil War, the foresight to kind of bring that in and make sure that's involved is really good.
Also, shout outs to just not filming all your vlog stuff with your phone vertically. Love that. That's awesome. Yeah.
No, I think overall this Peter Parker and this Spider-Man is great for me and personally.
Yeah, I really love the film as well. Tom Holland is a great Spider-Man. Again, Michael Keaton is amazing in this film. Like during the Keaton Renaissance or whatever it was, like it was coming back as kind of a big deal.
Off Birdman, which is the funnier.
Off Birdman, which is amusing.
Yeah.
As well. Yeah. It was all great pieces. I love his relationship with Ned. I thought his all his high school stuff was quite amusing as well. All the stuff with Flash, who's an interesting take on Flash and his debate team, whatever it was. No.
Yeah, it's
Decathlon
debate or something. Decathlon is pretty much debate.
Kind of, yeah. Yeah, it's all pretty good. I don't know what else to say. Yeah, I love the John Hughes influence on the film. Even to the point where they flat out have, I think it's Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Yes.
They're watching Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Yeah.
While he's doing a section that's like a copy of Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Which is a great sequence. Yeah, it's just so many great sequences.
The after credit sequence is a Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Man,
reference.
Chris Evans. I mean,
yeah,
maybe that's what the deal is, that he's striking up. He's going to come back and shoot more of these ads.
More of the ads for high school videos or something.
Yeah.
So you disappeared in a blip, and now you're trying to get your life back on track.
It's
I know what it's like to be out of time.
Yeah, yeah.
It's also good how the writing of this movie looks upon itself, just answering little questions like, what happens when Spider-Man has to go through a golf course or somewhere where he's got nothing to swing off, or how does when he's webbing up his backpack, of course his backpack gets stolen. It's it's New York. It's just a whole bunch of really well kind of put together, looking at Spider-Man and answering some questions that obviously fans have always had.
Yeah.
And then also Donald Glover. I just want to, because I nearly forgot Donald Glover was in it, and he's such a cool cat in this.
Well,
so
proud.
He's like, man, you're bad at this.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he plays Aaron Davis, who would eventually become the Prowler.
Well,
or is the Prowler.
Or he is the Prowler.
He is the Prowler, because when he scans, when they do because I paused at this moment because I wanted to read that information. It says Alias is the Prowler.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, okay, fair enough.
One little reference to Miles. Oh, my cousin, or
my nephew. Yeah,
nephew
lives in this neighborhood. Yeah. Yeah, he was trying to get. The thing he was interested in was climbing boots or something. So.
Yes. Yep.
So yeah. Do you think we ever get?
I hope so.
Prowler?
I think as soon as we get Miles, we get Prowler.
See, this is the thing, because obviously Miles was based on Donald Glover, so then everyone was always like, "Oh, you should play the live action one," but he's too old now to play Miles Morales. So having him play Aaron Davis is,
it's close. Yeah,
it's perfect casting. So if he doesn't come back in that role, and I guess a couple of years ago you may be like, "Oh, could you do a Miles Morales movie while you're doing Peter Parker stories or something like that?" And I feel like you could just look at the video games to prove people are more than happy to go, "Yes, I'll have all the Spider-Man stuff," So.
Well, I think it's interesting because I don't know if you could do it in the MCU right now. Maybe another 5 years.
No,
Peter's a little bit older. Because obviously that age dynamic is the thing that's kind of interesting.
But Miles is always super young. Miles is always I guess it would be a weirder age dynamic that he'd be 12, 13.
Well, here's a question I have about the blip. When people come back, are they actually 5 years older? Because
no.
Peter... They're not.
No, they left at the same age that they came back at.
Yeah, so that's
That's why in Far From Home, that kid.
Oh, yeah.
So Miles could potentially be older than him now.
Yeah. And
Unless he also got
I'd
blipped.
have to make sure he got blipped as well to keep it in line. Yeah.
One of the interesting things I guess I've never really thought about until I was watching today was, of course, because they skip over his origin quite a lot in this. There's never the explanation about where the spider comes from for him, so I'm guessing when they eventually look into that story of where does that spider come from or what actually happened with that, I feel like that'll be the lead-in story for Miles to be coming in and to get his powers.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I would pitch, actually, since we're on the topic quickly?
Mm-hmm.
This TV show that I've wanted for a long time about the blip and the effects on people. Let me pitch another angle at that. You make a Miles Morales movie where the key setup is focusing on a family dynamic dealing with the blip and like having actually, you know, like seeing a normal family, and then you obviously intertwine his origin story to that. But that would be my, you know, because obviously, you know, on the grounds, normal family, just living somewhere. Let's say his mom like lived the entire 5 years or something like that, you know, like, and he blipped out or something like that. And then you could do an entire movie where it's like, how do people actually do all that? Because still for years, ever since Infinity War and Endgame, I'm still just like, I know we're getting a little
1 year.
Oh, it feels like it's been many years, to be honest. But you know, like that's I still just want to see
that year was
more.
2020, so
yeah, and I know without spoilers, obviously we're getting some of this in WandaVision to a small degree. We have recently. You should listen to our WandaVision episodes on the podcast feed if you aren't already. But I still want more of that story, and it's like you could fit that kind of story in perfectly with Miles and make it part of his origin story. So
yeah,
well, definitely considering as well with like that's a good way of having Aaron have become the Prowler, because there's 5 years during the blip where he probably took advantage of people not being in their homes. Or
that's a good point.
Yeah.
Would be like what was the world like in that, you know, sort of crazy space? What was crime rampant? Was there less crime? You know, like there's all these interesting directions you can actually take that 5 year period.
Yeah, definitely. We'll move into building the MCU. Not many new additions to the cast. I guess a lot of the kids in the film are actually original characters. Although Michelle is based on Mary Jane, she isn't technically Mary Jane. But obviously we all really like Zendaya. Obviously she gets a bigger role in the second film, and but she's pretty solid in this, you know, as a sarcastic outsider, I guess.
Is she not just Mary Jane though? Like I know it's like, oh,
No,
but
she's Michelle.
Yeah, but in the second movie she's just credited as MJ for the entire time. So
yeah, but they just said it's a homage to Mary Jane, not specifically based on. Yeah,
but I mean, when you still say that's like the introduction of this universe's version of MJ, though, you know what I mean? No, it's not really a new character. It's like
no, because even though there's different universes, they're still the same character and different in each universe.
I'm going to say it's not, because I didn't look up the facts.
You're the boss.
But we've got Marisa Tomei as May Parker. We didn't mention her during the Civil War episode, but she debuted in Amazing Fantasy number 15, August 1962, created by Stan Lee and Steve Ditko. I really enjoy her in the film. It is, though, kind of weird to have a much younger Aunt May.
They do try and make her look a lot older in this movie than they did in Civil War. Because she just wears like the kind of larger glasses a lot of the time, and I feel like there is an attempt to make her seem a bit more older for Peter and stuff. I really like the idea of having a young May.
She's not even young though. That's the thing. Though.
No, she's not. She's like
she's like 40, 50-ish, you know, in between that bracket. Yeah. Like without even looking up how old Marisa Tomei is, that's like how I'd guess the age of the character was.
But like, you know, we all picture
compared to
May as old white-haired woman.
From the comics and from obviously the first two film series.
Yeah, but my point being that it's not an unrealistic age for someone's auntie to be.
No.
At the age that Peter is in the movie, you know, like, so I like it. I think it helps to have a younger one, because it means that the relationship between her and Peter is a lot different than the older auntie figure, which is just more of the straight up
grandmother, like
fully like playing that mother role, like warm, loving character. There's really not much room for comedy or like, playing off each other that way. Whereas with Marisa Tomei, you get these funnier scenes throughout the movies, and they get a bit more hip with it. I don't know.
Yep. And then we've got Jacob Batalon as Ned Leeds, who that character debuted in Amazing Spider-Man number 18, November 1964, created by Stan Lee and Steve Ditko. Obviously, this iteration is very much a hybrid of that character, but is very much based on, I feel like, it takes a lot of elements of the Zanke character from the Miles Morales run, who we all met.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Who we all met in Spider-Man Miles Morales, or most of us did, the video game.
I think so. I don't know. I guess it's really them having this character is actually really nice and somewhat refreshing though for this movie, in terms of, in the Raimi trilogy, of course, he has his friendship is mainly with Mary Jane and
Harry
Osborn, and I can't even remember him having any other friends in Amazing Spider-Man other than Gwen. Like, I can't remember any other characters being involved with Peter whatsoever.
He doesn't have any other friends. I think that's literally
that's part of his character, though.
Yeah, he's a loner.
Anyway, but so I think it's really nice that Peter has this friend to play off that he has shared his secret with, even though it's not within his control that he does. And I think it's done really well. I think he has a lot of fun in the role.
Yeah, he's a lot of fun. Being the guy in the chair, hacking the suit, all kinds of shenanigans.
In what world, though, when a teacher catches you in the computer science room
during prom?
During prom, is your excuse you're watching porn? Like, how is that the best possible solution?
I think it's just supposed to be a funny, like, I'm doing something so bad, so what's the, like...
Yeah.
What's the slightly less bad?
Yeah. I'm watching porn.
Alright. Stanley sighting. Lee appears as an annoyed neighbor named Gary, who, after witnessing Spider-Man mistakenly accosting an innocent civilian, says to him, "Don't make me count them down there, you punk." His neighbor Marjorie greets him, asking about his welfare, while he does the same to her, asking about her mother. Plays better in the actual film than that long description. Yeah,
it's just hard coming off that Guardians cameo.
And you do feel like this is another one you feel was probably one of the ones shot by
James Gunn.
Yeah.
We shot like 4.
Yeah, like it doesn't feel like, when we talk about Thor's next week, I think Thor's is a bit different. Like, if Thor's feels a lot more personalized to that movie, but this one kind of does feel a little bit throwaway, and it's just been inserted here.
All right, and that's been your Stan Lee sighting for this week. Ciaran, what's the most marvelous moment from Spider-Man: Homecoming?
It is the moment when Peter is trapped underneath all of the rubble. Ash is like, God damn it, that was my moment.
That was.
I was gonna pick it as well. So I think this is the first week all three of us were just gonna pick the same.
I think I think Tom Holland's performance. This is the height of his performance in this movie. Is his gritting through this, and even just saying "Come on, Spider-Man." Is like, you can feel the pain in him. You can feel the frustration and everything pent up inside of him, where he's just trying to will himself through the situation. I think it's a very pivotal moment in several comic book series for Spider-Man, and I think it's done so well in this movie.
All right, Dylan, what's the second most marvelous moment?
I don't know. When Iron Man pieces that boat together.
That's pretty good.
That's like a half sarcastic, half real answer, because it is an important moment. It's one of the pretty epic scene, but also important for Peter as a character, I guess. So yeah.
Adding on to that scene, I love Holland's performance when he's like, "If you really care, you'd be here," and he like steps out of the suit, and like he's like, "Oh shit." Like, I think
takes a step back. He's like, "Bro, don't hit me, bro! Don't hit me." Yeah, I'll go with that.
Yeah, and again, Tom Holland's performance during that is just complete becoming a kid again. I haven't got any other clothes.
Gets a oversized tourist shirt or something off the street. Yeah.
Damn. Yeah. I think I'll go the Washington Monument set piece. Yeah, that's pretty good. Saving them in the elevator. Saving the day. Flash, needing to save that trophy first.
Fucking Flash, man.
Such a good interpretation of the character in this one.
Can I say, I didn't think about this. Flash, at the end of this movie, Spider-Man trashes Flash's car.
Yeah.
But then when we get to, like, the next movie, Flash is, like, the biggest Spider-Man fanboy out of everybody. It's like, what? Shouldn't you be annoyed because he trashed your car?
I don't remember that. Did they explain that? We'll find out soon.
I don't think so. I don't think it's commented on.
No. We'll find out in a few weeks. Yeah. How do we feel about the climax of the film? I don't know. Obviously, it's hard to sell a giant aeroplane that's visible crashing. I know. I know. I don't think that's one of the weaker parts of the movie, in my opinion.
I think it is easily the weakest action scene in the whole movie. It's not very exciting at all from start to finish, and
well, you put Spider-Man in a position where he, honestly, majority of his powers are kind of completely useless. They're however many thousands of feet in the air. He's got his like kind of old school pajama suit on. So all these for him it's like he can't really do much in the situation.
I would have loved to have seen him just have a fight on and around the blip while it was flying, or the ship while it was flying.
Just running around, yeah.
Yeah, but Spider-Man can like jump off and like swing and launch himself back up, or shit like that.
But I guess Tombs can't do, like Vulture can't do much in there. Like he's not really a.
You can swoop at Spider-Man, fly around, punch him. I don't know.
You gotta remember that plane's still going several hundred kilometers per hour.
And the Vulture suit's quite large. I don't think he could fly the Vulture suit inside the plane.
No, I mean on top of the plane.
On top of the plane.
Because then you could have had lots of cool shots of them fighting, and then you kept seeing, you know how that one cool shot where Spider-Man's like climbing underneath and it like takes over because the mirror of the ship or whatever, it starts reflecting it. So I was just imagine it would have been cool to have a fight on top for a little bit where you keep seeing like the reflections as they're fighting, bouncing around and stuff like that. I don't mean the entire thing. Obviously, you still bring it crashing down, but like
I like the stuff on the beach.
I don't know.
I like the stuff on the beach. I like how that it finishes and he spares him, like in traditional Spider-Man ways. But the bond that builds to between Vulture and Spider-Man in a way is extremely interesting going forward. I hope there's another Spider-Man movie down the line where Keaton reprises the role and they build further on the dynamic that they've built up in this one movie, because I think it's done very well.
Well, assuming Sony's going to try and do that Sinister Six movie down the line, so
yeah.
You're not introducing Marco Mando in part of the MCU.
What the Scorpion?
Yeah, Scorpion. Whatever. Yeah. Whatever the character name is.
I guess.
How rude!
Nobody remembers. He hasn't appeared again, so.
You know why I remember it, Ash, every time he shows up and I think about him often? It's because he's one of the main cast members of the best TV show going around at the moment called Better Call Saul.
Oh. Never heard of it. I guess the other thing is, how do we feel now seeing again the Tony Stark Spider-Man relationship building during this film, especially knowing what's coming? It was kind of bittersweet, wasn't it?
I still loved it.
They always do a good job, yeah.
Like I still loved it, and even with understanding what happens between the two of them going forward, I think it is, in many ways, it makes us even better because Peter's one of the things that Tony didn't fuck up. And it's not completely in his control, and it is because Peter Parker is Peter Parker. But I think having Peter in Tony's life makes Tony a better character overall.
We can tell Peter looks up to Tony, like legit sort of father figure.
And you can
and that grows throughout the movies, obviously.
You can tell Tony cares about Peter as well because, we see at the start of the movie or through the other stage of the movie, Peter is like eternally messaging Happy and trying to call Happy. And Happy isn't having anything, but Tony always knows. Tony's always aware. When Peter tries to say he's at band practice, Tony knows that he quit band practice a couple weeks ago because Happy let him know. Like Tony's obviously keeping tabs on Spider-Man. Maybe he's not doing it in the way.
Do you reckon the Happy's letting him know, or Tony's Happy's phone?
Just reading the messages he sends anyway, or something like that. Shout out to Jon Favreau, by the way.
So good.
It's very good.
Yeah, very happy. Happy gets an extended role.
Right. Yeah, it's good. My other shout out I just remembered was I did not realize until this watch that suit lady, whatever the suit voice is played by Jennifer Connelly.
Yeah, which is a nice touch.
Yeah, I was like,
Obviously, those who don't know, the wife of Paul Bettany, unfortunately named Karen. That was a bad choice.
Yeah, that was his fault. What's her name? Karen. Hey, suit lady. Just should have kept that as suit lady.
Suit lady is very good. Yeah. We don't really get to see any of those features in the second film. Are those features cut? Sure.
I think he just knows better by now. It's like, why does the suit have a fucking
Karen
insta-kill mode?
She's not in the next film. She doesn't appear in the next film.
She does, doesn't she?
She does.
She does.
Because she does, like, and they have, like, the instant kill
credited.
moment. She has, like, the instant kill moment in Infinity War and stuff like that, where that finally pans out after being set up so many times in this.
Okay. Maybe I'm mistaken. But yeah.
Find out soon.
Find out soon when we revisit Spider-Man in Spider-Man Far From Home. Comics recommendation for this episode. I got Spidey Volume 1, First Day, written by Robbie Thompson, penciled by Andrade Lima Araujo and Nick Bradshaw. This is a more recent retelling of like Spider-Man adventures from 2015-2016. Whereas most of the comics have got Peter Parker like after college and that kind of stuff. This one is set during high school, so it's just like a bunch of one-shots. Telling his life in high school. I thought it was quite charming and amusing, and it's not mind-blowingly good or anything, I don't think. I've only read like 2-3 issues, but each one he faces like a different villain. Like the first one he fights I can't remember who he fights the first one.
Second one's Sandman.
Second one's Sandman.
No, the first one's Rhino.
That's right. Yeah,
That's
Rhino.
it. And then it's Sandman, and then it's like someone bigger, like Goblin. I don't remember.
Lizard.
There we go. I knew it was green.
You just got confused because of the Green Goblin in the Miles Morales movie.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I thought these were good. These are just entertaining one shots for the most part. There is like slight connective tissue, but for the most part, it's just sort of villain of the week each one, I guess. And art style was good, and they're just easy reads, easy Spider-Man. Reads.
Yeah.
I got the same vibes as watching the animated series, like that kind of similar thing of having these one-shot moments, and I thought it worked really well. And I think Spider-Man has my favorite villains gallery. Like, I think he has some of the best villains in comic books in general. So I think this is done really well, and it kind of having that villains gallery helps make sure every volume doesn't always feel like it's like missing anything really.
Yeah. All right. Well, that brings us to the end of this episode of All New Marvel Cast. Let us know what you thought of Spider-Man Homecoming or of Spidey Volume 1 First Day by going to Twitter. You can find us all on Twitter by going to explosioner.com/Twitter. On our next episode of the MCU Rewatch, we'll be discussing Thor Ragnarok. So make sure you watch that and join us next time for another All New Marvel Cast.